name is Pallie Zambrano, and I'm a family law attorney, founding partner of All Your Law Partners. For me, I've sort of redefined quitting, per se, to an opportunity to reevaluate the situation. Is it going to look the way that I thought it was going to look a year ago or 6 months ago? Or is it going to look different? And different doesn't mean bad. It means that you've reached a point in that particular situation where you can look, for me as a lawyer, at the law and the facts and come up with a different conclusion. Reevaluate doesn't mean quitting to me. It means being confident enough and strong enough to look at the situation and redefine your goals. I think it's really important as you pursue your career, your life, your college aspirations to not be trying to find a way to quit or a way out. But there are times when it's appropriate to reevaluate your goals. The first time that I would emphasize as an opportunity to reevaluate is when you've kind of maxed out. For example, I've planned scholarship dinners and worked with a committee and worked with a group of people, and after several years, you've done it. You've shaken those hands, you've learned what those people can share with you, and then it's time to step aside and let somebody else have that same opportunity, and you can move then from a server to kind of a mentor. All of the time that you're doing that, I think you should be looking back to see who you can mentor and train to fill your shoes, because you don't want to work so hard on a project and then have it end because you've moved on. So the second situation when I think it's appropriate to reevaluate is if the environment that you're in is not conducive to allowing you to be your authentic self. So when I started at different firms, there's always something to learn. Everybody has something to teach you. You can learn from everybody's different styles, the way they hold themselves in court, the way they shake your hand. But if you find after a reasonable period of time, and that period of time is really unique to who you are, that you're not able to stand feet on the ground and look the people around you in the eye and maintain your authentic self, then it's probably time for you to find a different environment. Then the third time is perhaps the most difficult to define and to know when to walk away. Most of us aren't really good at quitting. And so I always kind of fall back when I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go forward or stop, to when I was, preteen, 12 or 13 years old, and I was at a horse show, and my horse was completely out of his mind. And he had been overstimulated. Last day I was sitting on him, and I told my dad I couldn't take him in the ring, and that was just simply not an option. And so my dad said, no, you trained, we paid for it, we traveled here, you're going to do it. And I had to make that decision. I couldn't do it the way I wanted, but I wasn't going to quit. So I went into the barrel race and I walked, because it was that kind of balance between I needed to be safe, but I wasn't going to walk away. You can't always go full bore. You can't always let go of the reins and let this animal, run wild if you know you're going to get bucked off. I think that's perhaps one of the most challenging things for all of us, is to look at the event. And so is it, barrel races? Is it a argument that I've been preparing on a case for years? I have to reevaluate. And so being open, you're 15, you're 16 years old, and you're planning your life and your career. You need to be very careful about writing things in Sharpie or black pen as opposed to a pencil, because I'm open to the reality that things are going to change. I remember sitting at the student union at San Jose State, which is where I went as an undergrad, and I knew I wanted to go to law school. And I was talking about that, and one of the other students said to me with no uncertainty in her breath that there's no way that I was going to get into law school because I was at San Jose State. And, I had a choice to make if I was going to persist in what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be, or if I was going to believe her. And obviously I chose not to believe her. And I think that that's a challenge for a lot of people, as you're making choices and you're going to take information in from fellow students, colleagues, mentors, people who've done it differently than you are doing it. And you have to be really open to receiving their information, but really careful to not let them filter or change your path for you. By the nature of what you're working on, by the nature that you're watching this video, by the fact that you're out looking for information and advice and input as you make decisions for yourself, you're already motivated, you're already goal-oriented. And what you need to be careful is that you stay true to yourself. And so it's very easy when you're persisting to not want to be outdone. And I think you have to be really careful as you persist to not let that sort of competitive nature get in the way of who you are. I hope for all of you, as you persist, you take time to figure out what actually brings you joy and what fills your soul. It's not going to matter what your GPA was. It's not going to matter how many clubs you belong to or if you got that extra class. It's really going to matter if you're doing something that brings you satisfaction. And to use the cliche, if it fills your bucket. If it doesn't fill your bucket, then it's not worth fighting for.